Welcome, crew. Okay, I've got tech difficulties. It's not connecting to the group. So I am just going to have to push. I'm sorry, and I'm live up there on. How is everybody? Hang on, I have to move Instagram there. Facebook doesn't want to play nicely, so I'm just going to just bear with me for a second. I'm just going to go and find my live on my business page because it's not live streaming in my group again. So we're going to share that. Hey, Dean, I can see you're there. Share that over to the group. Hello to Instagram. Just got some tech difficulties that I'm fixing up here. So we should be live in the group now. So, well, they wouldn't be able to talk to me if they weren't seeing it. But anyway, we should be live now over in the social media group, as well as my business page, as well as Instagram, as well as YouTube. We hope. How are you? And there it is. We're having trouble streaming. Yes, I gathered that. Hopefully we've fixed it. How are you? Say hello if you can see me and hear me okay, because there is some technical difficulties, but I'm hoping that I'm live streaming in the group now. I had that problem last week as well, but good to see you guys on. If you're watching live today, we're talking about self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is the things that you know you shouldn't do, but you do, and it's not in your best interest for you, but you do it anyway. So self-sabotage is something that's really limiting. A lot of people have got self-sabotage habits, limiting beliefs, things like that. So I just want to unpack it in this video, help you sort of raise your level of awareness around what self-sabotage is, because I do find that some people don't even aware that they're doing it when they're actually doing it. Like if you're not where you want to be in life, health, business, fitness, all those kind of things, there could be a level of self-sabotage that is sort of kicking in there. So let's unpack it in this video, and I want to give you sort of 5 things to think about in relation to help you with that. Before we get into that, some of you may have heard the news. If you're in the industry of social selling and network marketing, that's the crew that we have here that I teach social media systems to. Very unfortunate news about Beachbody, that they're going to an affiliate model. There's been a few of those happen this year. I will talk about that later in the week. Okay, so if you're in the industry, it doesn't mean that you need to get nervous about what. I know it does bring a certain level of uncertainty when another company goes to an affiliate model, but I think it's a discussion that we should have, and I'll talk about that later in the week. Okay, those of you that are in my coaching community, I'm going to go through active and passive prospecting strategies, to help you build your business. So don't miss the coaching community training this week. But at the beginning of the week, I always start with something to do with personal development, personal growth, something to help you be a better version of yourself, because honestly, it's not the company that you're aligned with that it's going to make you successful. It's you. It's what's going on up here. It's the actions that you take or you don't take. It's largely something to do with you. There are plenty of people in everybody's company that are successful. So why aren't you there being successful with them? There's usually something limiting that's holding you back. So today I want to talk about this self-sabotage. We all generally have some kind of level of it. So it can just help you sort of think a little bit about it and maybe whether there's some things that you need to deal with. Okay. So if you are here, say hello. We have got Dean. We've got Claudette. How are you? Sometimes it's not doing the things we should be doing. Exactly, Dean. Self-sabotage is a lot to do with avoidance. It's the things that, hang on, let me read that again. Sometimes it's not doing the things we should be doing. Yeah. So there's things that you know you should be doing, but you stop yourself from doing it, which is a form of self-sabotage as well. Okay. Morning, Judy. How are you in your part of the world? I'm showing live in the group. Thank you, Olive. Appreciate you letting me know. Hi, Sheila, and anybody watching on Instagram. Great to see you here as well. So let's get into it. So self-sabotage shows up in most people's life when you've got habits that are not serving you well, and there's something that you want, but your actions don't match that. There's a total misalignment. Does that make sense? So if you really want to, let's just take a basic example. If you really want to get healthier and lose weight, but you constantly go for the chocolate and the chips, so your behaviors, you're self-sabotaging your own results when it comes to weight loss because you're doing exactly the opposite of what you know you need to do. Does that make sense to you about how this shows up? So predominantly in your business, there's things that you should be doing. It could be content that you're creating. It could be, what are you avoiding? Conversations, networking, social media, all those kind of things. Most people know what they should be doing in most areas of their life. We're quite well aware of what we should be doing. Is that right? Like when it comes to your health and food and exercise, you know pretty much what you should be doing every day, right? And when it comes to your business, you know what you should be doing every day, pretty much, right? Well, are you doing it? If you're not doing it, then there's an element of self-sabotage in there. And the unfortunate thing is that a lot of it is subconscious, not even conscious. So subconsciously, you might be stopping yourself from doing certain things that you know you should be doing, but buried deep within you, your brain is telling you to go and do the washing or cooking or read a book or scroll social media. And so subconsciously your brain is telling, no, don't do that thing because that's a really uncomfortable thing if you go and send that message and they so-called reject you. So you go and you make yourself busy with other things. It's like what I find a lot of people do on social media. They listen to training after 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 training. You get the picture, but they don't go and do anything with it. They don't go and create the reel. They don't go and do the live video. They don't go and send the message. They don't go and do the do. They think a lot about it. They kind of know what they should be doing. They learn more about it. You're opting into all the trainings. You're listening to it. You're learning, but you're not doing. So that could be self-sabotage. Okay? So are there things, be honest with me. Just put me in the comments. Are there things that you know you should be doing, but you're not doing because they're uncomfortable or they're scary or you don't think you're good enough or you don't think you're confident enough or you don't think you're good at looking enough for camera or you don't think you're successful enough in your business so you can't show up, or you don't think you're skilled enough, or there's some kind of limiting beliefs that you're telling yourself that's stopping you doing what you know you need to do to grow your business. Like if that's you, just put me in the comments. Like own it. I own it. I do things like, let me give you an example. I'll get to that in a minute because, let me explain a little bit more and then I'll get to my example. A lot of it, and this is not something you can listen to this video for like 15, 20 minutes and then you're suddenly going to be cured of self-sabotage. Self-sabotage it generally shows up because there's something in your history, something in your past, generally due to childhood. Something to do with many moons ago when a teacher told you off, you had a big dream and they said, don't be stupid, or your parents kept putting you down, or maybe you grew up with issues with money. Maybe your parents always struggled with money. So deep down, subconsciously, you don't even know it here, but subconsciously you have issues with money. For me, back to my example, I have issues with food, and I'll tell you why. When I was young and my mum had cancer and was very unwell, she ate super, super, super healthy. She did what she could do to try to sort of beat the cancer. And we didn't have any junk food in the house. We weren't allowed to eat it. We weren't allowed to have it in the household. So chocolates, chips, cookies, anything like that, there was none of that in my house. So when I went out or when I got my hands on it, guess what I did? I would overeat it because subconsciously my brain is like, you better get it now because you're not allowed to have it when you go home. Do you see how that plays out? So there's things that happen to us as kids that we grow up that form our subconscious beliefs. And now I know I have to catch myself. Like I'll already be full, but I'll still want to eat more of something because I know my subconscious is running in the background going, get it while you can because you might not get it again. And yet consciously, that's just absolutely ridiculous. But I have to talk myself through that sometimes. It's like, no, Helen, you're actually already full. You don't need any more of this. And you can actually get this tomorrow. Like, you're a grown woman, you can get it whenever you want it. Like, there's no deprivation here. But that's kind of how my world plays out with food. Can any of you relate to kind of any examples like that, like with money or certain things? Like, if you might not realize you've got issues with money, but if you grew up in a household where everybody struggled for money, and your parents struggled for money, and you weren't allowed to do certain things, you're probably running in the background going, well, I'm never going to have a lot of money. I'm not deserving of a lot of money. I don't even know how to make a lot of money. I haven't been around anybody that's made a lot of money. So you kind of discount yourself as being, even having the potential or the possibility. You just can't see it for yourself. You might when you dream, but subconsciously you're wired to go, well, it never happened in my family, so it's not going to happen for me. Do you get where I'm coming from? So this is how self-sabotage shows up. Other ways, like I wrote down other symptoms. So check in whether you do any of these things. These are other symptoms of self-sabotage. Refusing to ask for help. Starting conflicts, like you start conflicts. Setting goals way too high or way too low, so you never push yourself to potential, or you set your goals way too high all the time that you're never going to achieve them. Withdrawing from others, so when you're going through stress or things like that, like you completely withdraw, you hide from people, you hide from life, you hide behind closed doors. That's a form of self-sabotage. Negative self-talk. You may not be conscious of that, but subconsciously you might tell yourself you're not good enough, or you're not good looking enough, or you're not successful enough. And that's why you can't do the live video. That's why you can't send a message to somebody. That's why you don't have any posture on social media. So that kind of negative self-talk, making excuses or blaming others for you not succeeding. So, that can play out in many different ways in your business as well. So you're blaming your upline, or you're blaming, somebody in your business. Or they haven't given me enough training, or they haven't done this, or they joined somebody else, or they did this, or they did that. Or, like, you're blaming others for your lack of success in your business. That's not cool. That's self-sabotage, okay? Because you're not owning it, okay? Obsessive behaviors or addictions. This is where alcohol, drugs, medication, eating. Some people are compulsive shoppers. Like compulsive behaviors, they're a form of self-sabotage because there's something running in your subconscious that you're not dealing with. Constantly seeking approval. So you've already been told you're doing a good job, but it's not enough. You need to hear it again and again and again. You're constantly seeking reassurance and approval from other people because you don't have enough confidence in yourself. Okay? The opinions of others shouldn't matter. If you truly have enough self-worth and self-value, you should be telling yourself that you're amazing and nothing's going to stop you or get in your way from whatever it is that you want to achieve. So unless that's truly how you think about yourself, there's probably issues that you need to deal with. We've all got baggage. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's not something to hide away from. It's the power in this, and why I talk about this kind of stuff is when you can actually recognize and acknowledge that you've got crap going on in your life, you've got half a chance to fix it, and then you can build the most amazing business that you want to. You can't build the most amazing business and leave a legacy for your family in this industry or any other business unless you're good. When you're good, you'll have a good business. When you're not good, you're not going to have a good business. So this is why I talk about this kind of stuff at the beginning of every week, because largely it's down to things that you need to break through for yourself to become the person that you need to become to be worthy of a 6 or a 7-figure, business. Okay. Instagram, I hope I'm coming back because it says I've paused for a connection. Okay. And reluctancy to speak up. You would rather sit and suffer than have a conversation with somebody and speak up and speak your truth and speak how you're feeling and work through an issue. If there's something I've learned over the years, there's a number of things that I share with you guys over and over and over again. one of those things is always asking myself, what do I need to learn from this? What do I need to learn from this? And it's also taking responsibility from where I'm at. It's no one else's fault if I'm having issues with something. It's no one else's fault that my shoulder is in incredible pain. Anybody you've been watching me lately? Oh my God, my shoulder is so bad. I got up and went to the physio at 7 o'clock this morning. I've had work done on an hour on my shoulder. It's my fault. I struggled with shoulder pain teaching my classes at the gym for about 8 or 9 months before I did anything about it. Like, I can't blame anybody else but myself. Like, what are you doing that you're putting up with that you really shouldn't put up with? And if it's your business, you deserve to have an amazing business. You deserve to get customers. You deserve to have people join your team. But unless you've got posture, unless you believe in what you're doing, and particularly believe in yourself, it's probably not going to happen. Okay? So this is worth talking about. This is worth you going and doing some work on to break through whatever it is that you need to break through so you can build the most amazing business that you want. Okay? So moving on. Oh, I'm just going to check in with some comments here. Yes. I hide. You do, Cherie. I'm calling you out. I know you hide. You're worth more than that. And this is the thing. This is a lot of it revolves around self-worth. And what is it about yourself that you don't believe that you're worthy of something to treat yourself the right way? When you feel that you are worthy and you do some work on yourself, you will treat yourself in the best way possible. You will eat the best foods. You will go and exercise when you don't feel like it. You will deal with past trauma. You will just deal with what you need to deal with because you know you are worth it. If you don't deal with this stuff, this is the danger. The same patterns show up your entire life. They will just keep resurfacing. And you might so-called fix something for a period of time and you'll be okay for a number of months, but then it'll resurface and you'll have to deal with it again. It's like grief, trauma, abuse, all those kind of things. You deal with it and you'll be good for a while, but it doesn't mean it doesn't resurface. But when you've got tools in your tool belt to deal with it, you can push through it faster the next time and faster the next time. I'm hoping that makes sense. Like, sometimes it takes us way too long to shift through something. But, then we make some progress and we think, okay, I've dealt with that now. It's like grief. You deal with it, but it resurfaces for some reason and you start slowly sliding. Like the wrong foods creep in, or the lack of exercise, or you're hiding more again. Like, it slowly creeps up on you. That should be your trigger and your level of awareness to go, okay, I need to spend some time on me working through this stuff again, because we're back to where we were before. Okay. So let me give you, just a few more comments. Claudette, I'm so done with just getting by. I want a positive, healthy life of living my best life because I can. Amazing, Claudette. And that is something that you need to repeat over and over and over again. And I know people laugh at things like affirmations, but that wording, Claudette, you need to say to yourself 3-4 times a day. When you reinforce the right wording and the right behaviors, then you will start being a different person. But unless you give your energy to the right statements and the things that you actually want, you will always be run by your subconscious with the shitty things that let you down. So we have to say, and we have to reinforce, and we have to have a level of awareness. And we need to do something about it, because your subconscious is always going to rule your life. And the bad habits that you had last year and the year before and the year before that and the year before that are going to keep showing up next year and the year after and the year after and the year after that, because you're not acknowledging it and filling your brain with positive things and working on yourself to become the best version of you. Okay? Judy, definitely have been in the recluse stage last 12 months, though I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, owning my bads. Good for you, Judy. And this is what it's all about. And this, what I'm talking about today, you can't fix by next week. This requires constant, repetitive work on these 5 things I'm about to share with you. Okay? Okay, sorry. I'm guilty of it all, but now I'm doing much better. Awesome, Sheila. After all, Helen, your main reason for getting me out of those thoughts. I'm glad I've been able to help, Sheila. So keep working on it. All of us need to work on it. Even when you look at successful people still have doubts. Successful people still have issues. Successful people still have things and demons that they work through. No one is ever immune to what I'm talking about today in this live video. Okay? So moving on, these 5 things. The first thing, you can't fix anything you don't acknowledge. So what are you not acknowledging on that list that I read out? Like, you don't ask for help, you hide. You go for sugary foods. I do. We've all got our things. Okay. What are you doing that doesn't serve you? What are you not acknowledging? What are you letting slip by every day as the day goes by, and you're just putting up with it? You don't need to put up with things. You need to deal with them and fix them. So acknowledge the things that you know you need to fix. Self-sabotage is a total misalignment with what you want and what you're doing. It's like the example I gave, like maybe you want to be fit and healthy, and you think about that and you desire for that, and you get really down about that, and you get really upset and mad at yourself about that. But, today, tomorrow, and the next day, you still eat chocolate and chips and never exercise. That is a total misalignment. That is total self-sabotage. So own it, recognize it, acknowledge it. You can't fix self-sabotage unless you actually acknowledge what it is that you're doing that you know it doesn't serve you. And don't tell me you don't know. You know the things that you do that don't serve you. It's as simple as that. You do things on a daily basis that don't serve you. You sleep in when you shouldn't. You eat crap when you shouldn't. You should have gone for a walk, but you didn't. You should have worked your business. You should have created that reel. You should have done that live video, but you didn't. Recognize what you're not doing that you know you should do, or vice versa. Okay. So step 1 is acknowledging it and taking self-responsibility for it. Okay. Second thing. So basically, what are your red flags? Well, like, recognize your red flags and go and do something about it. Like, acknowledge it. Like, going and do something about it, that can take weeks, months, years. Okay. But acknowledging it is your first step. So 1, acknowledge your red flags, acknowledge your self-sabotage, acknowledge the things that you're doing that don't serve you. If you know you're not working your business, acknowledge it. You may not like it, but acknowledge it so you can do something about it. You can't do something about something you're not acknowledging. So it's got to be step 1. Step 2, I would highly recommend, and as much as I say this, people will start for 5 days and then fall off the wagon. Write, journal, get it out of your head. You've got to get out of here. This thing up here can be your worst enemy as far as stress, procrastination, overthinking, self-sabotage. It's what's going on up here. You need to dissect what's going on here, and you need to pick up an old-fashioned pen and a journal and start writing. What are you dealing with? What are you unhappy with? What do you need to change? What do you want for the future? Write. It's a very healing process. Even grief. Have you heard of that strategy? I've done it before to my mum. You write a letter. She's not even here to give the letter to. You write the letter. You get out what you're feeling. You get out the frustration. You get out the anger. You rip it up and you put it in the bin. If you've got somebody you don't physically want to have a conversation with, but you're still so angry with them, in your world, in your head, get it out. Put it on a piece of paper, write them a letter, tell them how, almost went there, how frustrated you are, and then, screw it up and put it in the bin. And if you need to write 10 letters, keep writing, journal it. Figure out in your own head what it is that you're dealing with, because some of you might not even understand the way that you're run. Your subconscious is running you and you don't even know why you're not doing certain things. The only way you're going to understand it is to get it out of here and start writing things out, and the clarity will come. The answers will come. The healing will come. But you've got to make it a habit. So number 2 is like journaling. Identify things. Unravel your thoughts. Write down what you're thinking. You got to unravel the thoughts from up here and get it out there. So that's number 2. Number 3, when you start to recognize it and you unravel it, what's the plan? What are you going to do? You've got to have a plan to conquer self-sabotage, and you've got to stick to the plan. This is where Mel Robbins' theory 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is brilliant, because sometimes you need to do something or stop yourself from doing something in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 moment. Chocolate? I really want the chocolate. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'll grab an apple. Like, you need to actually shift sometimes, like in 5 seconds, your thought processes for doing or not doing something. So you've got to have a plan. What's your contingency plan when you know you're going for the chocolate? Okay, the plan is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm not going. I'm going for something. I'm going to have a stash of apples or berries or whatever. Like, make a plan. If you're, sleeping in too much, what's the plan? If you're not working your business, what's the plan? What's your DMO? What are you going to do every day? And you've got to do it. You've got to force yourself to do it, but you've got to have a plan. Without a plan, you are never fixing self-sabotage. Without a plan to eat clean, to exercise, to know when, how, whatever, a DMO for your business, calls with your upline, seeking help, whatever. What's the plan? You got no plan, you are not changing, my friend. You've got to have a plan. So start working on a plan to overcome whatever it is that's not serving you. And only you know what that is. Okay, so the plan. The fourth thing is practicing mindfulness in whatever way floats your boat. So is that meditation? Is that relaxing music? Is that walking? You've got to be kind to yourself, and you've got to work through issues that are buried deep. So mindfulness is things like, also when you've got a plan, like, how are you dealing with your stuff? What is your stuff? Is it grief? Is it trauma? Is it abuse? Is it money issues? Is it, what's your thing? What's holding you back from being the most amazing person you can be? Because I tell you, if you had 110% self-worth, you loved yourself, not in a vanity kind of way, but you really, really valued yourself, and you knew that you deserved more, and that you're going to have the business that you want, and that you're going to look amazing and feel amazing. Like, when you really step into that power, you won't care what people think. You'll just treat yourself nicely. You won't go for crap food because you value yourself. Those of you that are totally self-defeating behaviors, there's something around your self-worth or your self-value that you need to work on. So this is where you need to practice the mindfulness in what is it that you need, how do you build your self-love? What is it that you need to do to feel better about yourself? What is it that you need to work through? What therapy do you need to, go through? Those kind of things. So those kind of things, you have to work on that at the same time that you've got your plan together. Okay. The last one is communication. Get out of your own head. Do you have a mentor that you can talk to? Do you have a friend? Do you have a trusted confidant? Do you have somebody in your world that you can talk to about what I'm sharing with you in this video? You have to share these kind of things to, one, either have somebody in your corner to keep you accountable, or just talk through stuff. Because when you feel alone, when you go into your shell and you're only up here, you'll never get out of self-sabotage. I'm sorry, it just won't work. This is why people do have counselors and psychologists and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes that doesn't work for people, but who is in your corner to talk through things and help you with things, and for you to take responsibility of saying it out loud about what you're going to do. I know when I want to make a change, I've got to say it out loud. At the moment, what I'm saying out loud, if you follow my stories or anything like that, is this damn shoulder that's giving me so much pain. It's my own fault. I wasn't doing the exercises. Now I've got a massive issue. So I'm saying out loud, I've got an issue. I need to do something about it. I'm talking about it. I'm owning it. And I've got an ultrasound next week and a doctor's appointment the week after. And I had a massage yesterday. I've got another one on Thursday, and I went to the physio at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm owning my shit because I'm like, I hate the medical profession. I hate doctors. I hate hospitals. Anyway, that's going on a completely different tangent. It's just like, no, like when it comes to your health, I've got to take more responsibility, because I don't want to be in doctors' clinics. I don't want to be getting x-rays. I don't want to be having surgery. I just don't want that kind of stuff. Natural health, self-responsibility all the way. Who's with me? Like, you've got to get yourself psyched for your own problems in your own life and rectifying them. Is this valuable to anybody listening? Even if you're listening on the replay later. Are you hearing me when I talk about self-sabotage? Is there something that you know that you need to fix, that you're ignoring? And, I just want to reinforce, some of you have bad habits that you don't even recognize. So even all the 5 points I've given you, you can't change your life for the better unless you actually own your red flags. You own your bad habits. You own the things that you know you're avoiding. You've got to own it. You've got to recognize it. You've got to write it down, and you've got to start dealing with it. Because you want to be the best version of you, don't you? Don't you want to be the happiest, healthiest person? Don't you want to be that person that's, in their 90s that everyone's like, they are freaking amazing. They've got all their wits about them. They're still walking out every day. They're living independently. They're holding a normal conversation. Like, they are freaking amazing. I wonder what they did in their life to look after themselves. Be an inspiration to others, but most of all, be an inspiration to yourself. And in this sort of, business-wise, you're not going to have the business that you want unless you step into the person that you know you need to be, that people look up to, that people want to work with, that people want to join, that people want to buy a product off. They get inspired by you and they absolutely want to work in your team because you're uplifting and you're amazing. Be that person. Okay? I've talked way too long. The Wellness Collective, hands up. Awesome. Thanks to those that are listening on Instagram, and to you guys over here on Facebook and YouTube. You're in the driver's seat. Don't ever think you're not. But the tricky thing about self-sabotage, it is very deep. And there might be some things that you're avoiding from younger years. That's where it comes from. So dig deep. Acknowledge, dig deep, go through those 5 things that I shared with you and start working on it, because this is like weeks, months, potentially years in the making to overcome these kind of stuff. Okay. But I hope there is somebody listening to this video that needed to hear this message today, and that you go and take some self-responsibility for where you're at right now in whatever that is, your health or your fitness or your business or, whatever, because you deserve more. We are all worth it. You're worth it. You're worth more. So go and do the best you can for yourself so you can go and build the most amazing business and leave a legacy for your kids and your grandkids and beyond. Okay? So thank you for listening to me today. I hope you've taken something away from this, and join me later in the week where I will be talking about, the unfortunate circumstance we are in the industry, and sadly, Beachbody going to an affiliate model, like another company that's in a bit of trouble. But let's have that conversation later in the week. And coaching community members, don't forget the training I'm talking about for you guys this week, active prospecting and passive prospecting, and what that means and what it looks like, so you can build your business, online faster. Okay. So I will see you on my next video, guys. Bye.